Ladies and gentlemen, the New Orleans Saints, led by Derek Carr, travel to California and join practices against the Los Angeles Chargers and a former friend of Derek Carr, Khalil Mack.
Derek today?
Oh, yeah, always. I feel like that's the most fun I have when I'm on the field going back and forth with that guy. It's just like 2014 again, going into Oakland and practicing against each other. And so that's always fun.
How strange is it seeing them in New Orleans and not?
Oh, man, it's super strange, man. It's super strange. But all in all, understanding the business of football, it is what it is. And I know he's going to be a hell of a player for them.
We're going to show you some of the best highlights of the Saints in these joint practices. And if you're a Saints fan who's new to the Derek Carr experience, we got to revisit the Joey Bosa-Derek Carr beef.
We all know the crap Joey Bosa talked on Derek Carr last year, trying to say that he's soft.
We knew once we hit him a few times, he really gets shook, and you saw on CC's sack, he was pretty much curling into a ball before we even got back there. So, but we know once you get pressure on him, he kind of shuts down and he's not as effective with the crowded pocket. So that was the key to it.
Joey Bosa was even asked to clarify what he meant about Carr, and he doubled down.
I was just pointing out something that I noticed when he gets pressure, he seems to shut down a little bit. Like it seems like a lot of quarterbacks do that with pressure in their face. But I was just pointing something out that you could easily look up and see. And I wouldn't really like somebody that plants their shoulder into me for a living, so I don't see how he would really like me. I wouldn't if I was him. So
and you know our guy Derek Carr's a gentleman, and he's gonna respond the right way.
I love Joey, and he knows that. We've gone back and forth. He was probably mad because I was talking a lot of crap to him during the game. It was an emotional day for them. I saw a lot of things about their whole team after. He's entitled to that opinion, but it's almost like he watched the game in reverse. The game that I watched, we came out and fought a little bit after they got after us a little bit up front. And he's entitled to say that. He's a great player, great dude. I just don't think he watched the game in the same order I did. I just thought it was unfortunate that he'd even think to say it. Maybe he's just trying to get under my skin, which he did piss me off, so good job for that.
Well, Derek Carr ended up getting the last laugh there because Joey Bosa went home after week 18 while Derek Carr went off to the playoffs.
And we know Michael Thomas may not be at 100% Michael Thomas, record-breaking Michael Thomas, but he is still balling out and making plays, and you have him against All-Pro Derwin James, making him pay. And wow, burns him, gets wide open. And you have the second-year wide receiver Chris Olave burning Asante Samuel deep for a touchdown. That's not going to make the Chargers too happy there. Oof, wide open. And then Olave takes Samuel to task yet again. Clean. And Derek Carr keeps building chemistry with Chris Olave, hits him on a quick hitter right here. And Olave able to juke and burn the rest of the defense. Wow. And then you got Derek Carr climbing the pocket and finding Michael Thomas for a big gain. Wide open, easy completion. And not only were the wide receivers getting in the mix, but you had Carr hitting the tight ends as well. Here's him going to future Hall of Famer Jimmy Graham. And this dude was covered and still connected. Oh my goodness, right on the sideline. And Jimmy Graham's been praising Derek Carr, saying that Derek Carr has fit into the Saints offense and he runs it like a rowing machine. And Alvin Kamara, we know he's going to be suspended 3 games, but this dude isn't just catching. This dude isn't just running the football. He could freaking block right here. Chargers fans are trying to boast, but he blocks that linebacker for like 3 seconds. Most of the time, you barely even hold on to the football for 3 seconds in a passing play. Good block by Alvin Kamara. And this is something, do fantasy football people, get Juwan Johnson as your tight end. You could draft him late. A lot of people don't know about this guy. Carter Juwan Johnson continues to be unstoppable. We've heard about this all throughout camp. Oof. Isn't it a coincidence he's wearing Darren Waller's old number with the Raiders? And like we said, Alvin Kamara can do it all, man. He's punching in some runs here against the Chargers defense. And hey, that's a good Chargers defense. So hats off to the O-line, getting the blocking done so Kamara could run it in. So we heard great things about wide receiver A.T. Perry as well. Chris Olave and Michael Thomas were doing well against the LA Chargers, but it was not all sunshine and daisies for Derek Carr. The offense did have some rough drives against this Chargers defense, and even a pick here. You got Khalil Mack beating Trevor Penning right here, forcing the pressure, and Derek Carr throws an off-target pass that leads to an interception. And the pressure comes in, moves to his right, and an easy pick, overthrowing Juwan Johnson, and the Chargers rightfully celebrate. So the Saints still have a lot to work on, but I think going up against the Chargers is great practice for them. You got a solid defense that knows Derek Carr really well, and you also have an offense that's quite successful with Justin Herbert. These are great reps and great practice for the New Orleans Saints. And some not so great things happened as well, and that is all-pro cornerback Marshon Lattimore having his leg wrapped up. Man, you can't have your number one corner go down, but he did not look too happy. He stood off to the left and he didn't participate a little bit after practice got going. So Marshon Lattimore only did half of the team drills, so that's really impressive for the Saints to be able to hang with the Chargers, even though you didn't even have Lattimore most of the time. But Dennis Allen, the head coach, said that it's just a little bit of a knee issue and it doesn't expect it to be anything serious. It's just precautionary sitting him out. And here's the thing, because Derek Carr was in California, you had him meeting up with old friends like Khalil Mack right there, but he also had him take questions from Raiders reporters. Some Raiders reporters traveled to the Chargers Saints practice, and they ended up asking Carr questions about the Raiders. And I feel like Carr has been trying to move on and not really discuss the Raiders that much, but you always have these reporters following him around and asking him about his former team, and I think he handled it quite well and graciously, and he wished all his friends on the Raiders the best.
Whenever you get released somewhere, that fire, you get rejuvenated, all those kind of things, and you feel refreshed. And it's been great inside our building. Again, like I said, I wish the Raiders the best. Those are my friends. I hope they win and do great. But I'm in New Orleans now, and I'm gonna give them everything I have with a new energy and all that kind of stuff that I'm excited to bring. Those are my friends. I have no hard feelings. Like I said, I got no hard feelings. Towards any of my guys. I want those guys to succeed, because I know, when you don't succeed, it's tough and it's hard on your families. It's hard on everybody, and I don't want that for my friends.
And I think that's just great character coming from Derek Carr. It was an organization that I think did him dirty in the end. They convinced him to sign a team-friendly contract, and then they kicked him to the curb. That's exactly what happened with the Raiders and Derek Carr, and Mark Davis ultimately chose the head coach over him. And we'll see if the Raiders regret this move, but you have the rest of the NFL singing the Saints and Derek Carr's praises here. You have Colin Cowherd naming his list of the top QB wide receiver duos in the NFL right now. And I'm going to be honest, man, I was shocked to see them rated this high. Derek Carr and Chris Olave rated number 5 behind Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson. These people are topping Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs, topping Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson. Even though I'm rooting for these guys to do well, I'm a little shocked to see this rating this high, but it just shows the upside and what's possible if Derek Carr gets clicking with Olave. And we mentioned the defense a little bit. We have a highlight here. Brian Bresee showing that he could make some plays in the run game, wrapping up Austin Eckler. Looks like a freaking man holding his child as he takes him to daycare. And he did this multiple times, locking him up. And that's what you want to see from the Saints. Brian Bresee, your first round pick. Can he be a factor in the run game day one? The Saints do enter this preseason game against the Chargers on Sunday. I'm going to guess a lot of backups play, considering the fact that the starters are playing in joint practices, and Derek Carr already got his one series with the starters last preseason game against the Chiefs. Let me know what your projection is for the Saints right now. Do you think they're being a little overhyped now that the national media is catching on? Or do you think the praise is just right? My name is WiFiWillie. Peace out, and I hope you have a good one.